Hello vlog. We were driving and now we're here.
Here is a hospital room. Yeah. Apparently the doggo's fine though. She doesn't care. She's just smiling. She thinks it's funny. Why do you think it's funny, you weirdo?
But I filmed all that other content, so I felt weird about not putting it together because the trip before this point was good.
It was. I thought it was nice.
And I want to remind myself that. So, yeah. I will come back to this video later to add a proper ending, like reflections and explaining what actually happened. But I think basically everything that I've said up until this point about our trip and our plans, and I want to do another vlog. If you can't tell, it's cancelled. But I'm okay, and my boyfriend is okay, and my fur baby is okay. My car, however, is not.
We're not sure yet. We haven't gotten to see the car yet.
We will go into that further in my reflections. But I think I just need the reminder right now that it happens. And even the doctor just now said too, he was like, around this time of year it's always the ice. So I'm just a statistic.
No, we beat the statistics. We are still here. She's still here. She's still here. And she's still smiling like a goofball. Oh, nope, she stopped smiling. She doesn't think it's funny. Oh, she's smiling again. There she is. Yeah, say hi to the vlog, I'm Bea. Say hi. But you're still here. And we're still here.
I have a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
And I will reflect on them later, but right now I think it's best if I focus on getting better instead of focusing on vlogging.
And also, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but where we had the crash is called Soda Springs. I would like us to name one of our babies Soda. She's still not on board with it.
I don't want it.
She doesn't want it. Okay.
I don't want a soda baby.
She thinks it's funny. Is there anything else you want to say to the people?
No, because I will add my reflections later. I just wanted to make sure that I kept myself accountable to actually do this video.
No.
As a reminder for myself. And a reflection. Yeah.
Alright. Well, bye vlog.
Bye vlog.
Hey guys. As you guys can see, I am now at home. I wanted to do some reflections, like I said, in the hospital about what happened after this point, and also a little bit more reflection on the whole trip as a whole. To start, I'm going to do reflections on what happened for the rest of the trip so you guys are caught up with what has happened, and also so you guys know, like, you know, how I got back home, and just so you guys know, like, everything turned out okay. We're all safe and sound. We're all back home. Like, I'm back at my desk, my usual place, and I'm obviously editing this footage now, but I just wanted y'all to know that everything turned out okay. But to start, as you guys can see, we drove out on Saturday the 14th of December in 2024, and we ended up getting in a crash. The whole first part of the trip was really good. We had a lot of fun and we enjoyed it a lot. We were talking a lot about different things, and I didn't include all of the conversations we had, but it was a really fun road trip. For me, road trips are really important because I've done road trips most of my life, and my car is super important to me for specific reasons, which I'll get into later, but I've done road trips with my boyfriend and my dog, and she recently started to like road trips, and so we decided to take a road trip. Once we reached the Idaho area, and we reached Soda Springs, a small, tiny little city in Idaho that doesn't really have anything. They don't really have Ubers. if you don't drive, it's like you're kind of stuck. And everything's pretty close by. Everybody knows everybody. It's a very small town. And when we got to Soda Springs, we hit a little patch of ice and slid directly into a pole on the street. In that moment, when we were driving and the car started to swerve on the ice, I panicked. And if you know anything about driving on ice and on snow, one of the most important things is to not panic. Because when you panic, you react, and when you react to a normal situation, maybe the reaction would have worked, but in ice or in snow, you're not supposed to brake really hard, you're not supposed to hit the acceleration really hard, you're just supposed to let it flow. And I panicked, so I hit the brake. And we swerved off of the road. We didn't hit any other cars, but we did hit a pole. And in the last second, I saw us approaching the pole, and I swerved the car so that then the pole would have hit on my side, on my driver's side, instead of the passenger side or behind on the back seats. This was an instinctual decision that I made. That is not the smartest decision in the world, obviously, but it was a decision that I made because instinctually my immediate thought was to save everybody else in the car. My relationship with driving is, I would say, very different than most people. Driving was one of my first senses of understanding of freedom. It was my first understanding of control in my life. But I also, at the time when I first started driving, if you know anything about driving, people say that if you have mental health issues, you are more prone to getting into car crashes because of emotional driving. And I am sadly one of those people. And so when I first started driving, my mental health was at a very, very low point. And this thing that was giving me a sense of control was also something that is dangerous, if not kept accountable. And I have always imagined myself, if I were to get into this situation, that I wouldn't care if my life was the one that was taken. It's selfless, yes, but it is stupid. The end goal is not to give up your life for other people. The end goal is to make sure that everybody is okay, including yourself, because your self-worth is so important. But recently I've been dealing with a lot of mental health issues, which have also led up to this decision, which have also led to me reflecting and understanding that maybe this is a sign from the world and a sign from my body telling me that I need to slow down, that I need to take a break, and that I need to relearn how to take care of myself again. This decision, these actions that led up to a crash that is honestly a coincidence. It's honestly like wrong place, wrong time, because tons of people crashed because of the ice. But it meant something different to me than I think most people. And for me, it meant stop, take a break. And also, maybe reflect on your mental health before you start driving again. And I think that's something that I'm going to have to take into account when I start driving again, and if I start driving again. I hope I do, because it's part of who I am, and it's like one of my favorite things in the world to do. Immediately after the crash, we found ourselves in a place that we didn't know. We didn't know anybody. We didn't have anybody around to make sure that we were okay, that we knew. So we relied a lot on strangers. And thankfully we ended up in a place like Soda Springs, where everybody there was kinder than I expected and so wonderful. Immediately this couple in a truck stopped when they saw us crash. And if you know anything about like most big cities or most cities, people most of the time just kind of drive by. There are a few people who are willing to stop and ask you if you're okay and try to help out, but most people are more in a rush to get where they need to go than stop to ask if you're okay. And this couple stopped and they took us in and helped watch us until the ambulance and the police got there, and I ended up going to the ambulance. Thankfully my boyfriend and my dog were okay, and after some testing I was okay, just dizzy and aching, and I also had lots of bruises on my face. I had a sore lip, I had a fat lip, I had bruising underneath here that's healed, and I was just guilty beyond understanding. I felt guilty for everything that had happened. I felt like everything was my fault. I felt like I had lost my car and my freedom and a part of who I am. I felt like I caused trauma to somebody that I care about. I felt like it was all my fault and we couldn't even have a good time. We couldn't even go on our vacation. And I know, like, in retrospect, all of these things, they don't matter. What matters is that we're all okay. But there is a part of me that constantly blames myself for everything. And I was doing that more than I have in a really long time in that moment.
And I remember texting my best friend Nikayla, asking them, like, and talking to them, because I was trying to deal with the emotions that I was feeling, but I couldn't process them properly because I was clouded by my own insecurities and my own guilt and my own mental health struggles, and constantly putting stuff on myself, blaming myself, thinking everything was my fault, and more than anything, wanting and wishing that this wasn't real. And my friend Nikayla texted me and told me basically, like, this is not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong, and there is literally nothing you could have done to prevent it because it has already happened. And you can't expect yourself to get over it because it just happened. And it's okay to feel the way that you're feeling, but also remember, like, this will pass, things will get better, and you are very lucky. And it bothered me a little bit how much everybody was telling me that I was very lucky and we were very lucky, when everything in my mind was telling me that I had lost so much. But after some time and some perspective and being able to push my way through the situation, I managed to reflect on it and realize they're right. The only reason why I'm feeling this horrible right now is because I need time. And it's okay to feel horrible, but it's also important to remember perspective, and that it isn't my fault, and that it wasn't my intention to get into a crash. It wasn't my intention to slide on the ice, and that there was nothing I could have done. Yes, there are things that I could have done beforehand. I could have taken a nap the day before, there are a lot of red flags in the stuff that I talked about prior to this point in the video, where I should have taken a nap the day before. I should have taken more breaks. I should have spaced out the trip more into more days. I shouldn't have felt so rushed or pushing myself to a point that I didn't need to. And the reason why I was doing that was because of pride. It was because of mental health. It was because I was acting emotionally instead of thinking logically or thinking about what was best for me, because I was constantly thinking about trying to make things perfect, trying to make the trip perfect, trying to do what's right, but I wasn't, because of pride. And I think it's humbling to admit that I was acting out that way. And I wish that I had taken the advice of my boyfriend, who had kept telling me to take a break. I had taken a nap the night before because I knew that I should have. I think there are a lot of things that I would have changed, but with time I realized that, in retrospect, these are not things that I can change, and the thing that is most important is that I'm okay. Not my car, not the things that I could have, should have, would have, but instead that I'm okay and that I am here.
In reflection, I understand now that we ended up in one of the luckiest situations possible, where we are all okay. We ended up in a place where everybody is so kind and nice and taking care of us and making sure we're okay, driving us around, driving us to go get everything we need, giving us advice on how to get home, checking in on our car, things like that, checking in on us and our health. And it's the best situation we could have asked for, because we were surrounded by people who were willing to support us even though we didn't know them. I stayed at the hospital for a few hours, and then the guy who was driving the truck in the couple, he offered to drive us to the nearest motel, which was really nice of him. He didn't have to do that, but he drove us to go get some food, drove us to the grocery store so that then my boyfriend could jump out and grab groceries for us for the night, and also dropped us off at a motel that was super close by, because this is a small city, so everything is really close, called the JR Inn, where we met this nice lady named Deb, and she was really kind and really sweet, and throughout the rest of our days there, she helped us do most of the things that we needed to do, which she didn't need to help us out, but in her kindness and in her want to help us, it really made us have a different side of perspective, because she took us also later on to go see different sites and stuff like that. But we spent the first night on Saturday in the motel, and we played games. We played this game called It Takes Two, which is a game that we've been trying to get into playing for a really long time.
Which was actually really fun, okay? If you know anything about me, I am a beginner at gaming, okay? It is not my forte. I don't know how to do it, but it was really fun. I was really good at, like, figuring out what we had to do next and the puzzles, but actually doing it was really difficult for me. So I would figure out what to do. I would tell my boyfriend what we needed to do, and then I would just slowly get there. And him, being patient, was always waiting for me, and he helped me get through most of it and figure out how to jump, how to do all the different actions and stuff. Maybe I'll film a video on that later, but we also, like, made lots of jokes. We could laugh about stuff. Like, there was at some point he, like, left the room to go do something, and then he came back, and I was filming, and I was laughing about how he left me swinging on this little circle thing, which is really funny.
It's me.
It's me.
And you left me because I can't hop onto that one. And you're down here.
But yeah, and that's how we ended the night. On Sunday, the 15th, so the next day, we woke up and we ended up going grocery shopping. We walked the dog. We did all of her morning routine and stuff. We went grocery shopping. Lots of people ended up really enjoying the fact that we had a dog. Everybody went up to her. Little kids went up to her, asking to pet her, interacting with her. Everybody was so nice and kind. We weren't able to go see the car. The plan originally was, after the day of the crash, we were hoping to see the car the next day to check up on things, to figure out, you know, the price and what was the next step and stuff. But the auto body shop that took my car and also towed my car wasn't open until Monday. So we spent Sunday trying to just cheer ourselves up and end up feeling better. So we took most of the day to just relax and heal. I found myself having a hard time staying still and trying to heal. I wanted to go do things. I wanted to distract myself because I was having trouble with everything that I was feeling. But it ended up being a good thing because I healed much faster, because I relaxed. I healed much faster because my boyfriend was there to remind me, like, take it slow. Like, I want you to relax. That's what they told you to do. Please do that. And I also, like, at the same time really wanted to cheer him up because I could tell he was also really upset about the whole thing and he was bothered. I wanted to do something fun. So I asked him, I was like, you know, since we're here and there's snow, let's have a snowball fight. He was like, oh, okay, let's do it. So then we went outside and we had a snowball fight. And it turns out he had never really learned how to make, like, a really compact snowball before. So I ended up teaching him how to do that.
What? Here, I'll show you. Come here, I'll show you. Okay, so you just get a clump or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, that one's already. You got a clump of stuff in your hand.
Yeah.
And you just push together. I use, like, pushing down.
Yeah.
That's why I like you see me doing this.
Yeah.
Because that way you're extending your arm entirely. Like buckling your arm in. You're just pushing down. And then it just makes a little compact thing. you gotta cuff it in your hands. So you gotta have a little handful. Your hand on top. And then push down. Like really hard until you can, it doesn't make any more noise. Yeah. See?
Right.
With more you, hey! With more you get better at it. Yeah, I got it!
My back.
Yeah. me, it's easier to do it like this on my legs. Like, oh wow. Well, you got big hands, so you're stronger than me. And that's how you make a snowman too. You just keep compacting more snow on it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would love to make like an actual ball. That's the best I had.
And once I taught him, we like had a lot of fun. We played with snowballs for a little bit. And then our fingers started to get cold and start burning. So we ended up going back inside. When we went back inside, we just kept watching TV and ate our dinner and stuff like that, and had orange juice and kind of just relaxed and talked a whole bunch. It was really nice, actually, for all things considered. And then Monday, the 16th of December, we ended up going to the auto body shop because they were open first thing in the morning. And when we went to the auto body shop, we ended up meeting the guy who owns the auto body shop and also owns the towing company. And we got to visit the car. And I had a few messages to my car. And yeah, I'm going to show that clip now.
Hey.
This is Sunny.
This is Sunny.
I've had Sunny for 3 years.
Yeah.
I've driven Sunny everywhere. And Sunny has kept me safe. Driving is one of my favorite things in the world because of Sunny. When I was little, I didn't feel like I had a lot of control in my life. When I started driving, I felt like I had some of that back. And she helped me run away. And she helped me feel happy. All of the little singing times in the car, picking up my friends, and going on road trips and taking Goofy places. She took us everywhere. She took me away from home. Took me to the place that I call home now. She went on road trips with us. She made Aunt I love road trips. She let Aunt see snow for the first time.
And the beach.
Beach.
Yeah.
I just love her a lot.
It's okay.
For me, my relationship with my car is something that's super important. And this felt kind of like a goodbye that I didn't want to happen. I think that my car is highly connected to my life before college and my family and the struggles that I went through while I was still in Texas. Because anytime I felt upset or horrible or like I needed to run away, I got in the car and I drove. It didn't matter where I drove, but driving itself made me feel a sense of control and freedom. And it also made me feel like I wasn't tied down by this sense of doom and these traumatic things that I couldn't control. And I drove my car all the way from home to college. That car, Sunny, has driven me away from so much pain and doubt and a version of myself that I don't even remember anymore. And there was a part of me that genuinely felt like I killed my car which I know sounds stupid, but to me, that car represents so much more than just a car. And, all my friends and stuff, they would get in my car and they would love my car. They would say like they miss my car, stuff like that. And that's a wonderful feeling, but it's not the same feeling that the car gives me. The car, to me, Sunny, is like my savior. But at the same time, that car has always been connected to Texas, to my family, to my trauma. And getting into that crash and feeling the sense of losing my freedom, losing my Sunny, it felt like I was losing a part of myself. And in retrospect, after some reflection, even when I was in that motel, I realized it's okay. Sometimes there are things in our lives that come and go, and when they're in our lives, it's great. It helps us, it brings us forward, it makes us grow, but sometimes it's time to let it go. And Sunny has brought me so much joy and taken me so many places. She's taken me to Comic-Con, she's taken me to college, she's taken me to meet my boyfriend. She's taken Ambea to her first beach. But I think that because she's still connected to everything in my past, there's a part of me when I drive her that still feels like that frustrated child that I didn't know how to handle. The frustrated part of me that gets frustrated when I feel feelings, that gets emotionally piqued and wants to run away constantly. And I think feeling like I can disconnect from her a little bit, from Sunny, is a good positive sign that I'm growing and that I don't need her anymore. Anyway, when we went to the auto body shop, at the end of it all, the guy who owns the place ended up telling us that it's actually possible for us to get her fixed. It'll be expensive. It might take a lot of time, but it's possible. So the hope is that I will get her back one day, maybe not in the near future, and I'll have to learn how to use the bus again, and I'll have to use public transportation, use Ubers, walk, and I'll see her again, and we'll be reunited once again one day. But I think for now, it's not a bad idea for me to learn how to walk and run and be without her. Anyway, after going to the auto body shop, we ended up getting picked up by Deb, and Deb was sweet enough to suggest a few things for us to go see, because Soda Springs is small, but they do have a few things that stand out for them and make them what they are, Soda Springs. And she took us to Hooper Spring, which is the place that everybody knows in Soda Springs, where there's a little spring of water where they get their sources and stuff, and we got to go see that. It was interesting. It wasn't super exciting, but it was interesting. I remember the guy who drove us in the truck mentioned to us too about it. He was like, oh, people go there all the time. Sometimes they drink the water a little bit to see how it tastes, but it tastes horrible. So, if you want to do it, you can do it as a tourist, but the truth is, if I'm being honest with you, it tastes disgusting. So we ended up not trying it. But we did walk around, and we had a really nice talk with each other, me and my boyfriend, about how Soda Springs kind of feels like Christmas, and one day we'd like to come back. Not by accident, not by trauma, but because we want to. And then after that, Deb actually took us to go see something else. We went to go see a geyser, which neither of us, me nor my boyfriend, have seen a geyser before. And we went to the Soda Springs geyser. And at first we thought like this little trickle of like water was the geyser. But then immediately after, like it exploded in water, which was really fun and really, really cool. And it smelled like sulfur and it was stinky and it was gross, but it was really cool. And they have a geyser there that goes off like every hour, which is kind of crazy. And it was really fun to see, and hopefully, you know, we can go back and see it again, and hopefully we can go back and see Deb again. And then after that, we ended up going to the store, because we ended up finding a way to head home, which was something we were struggling with, because the reason why we drove was because we weren't sure how to get my dog, Ambea, my emotional support animal, onto a plane, so we ended up driving in the first place. But to go home, we can't leave her there, and we also can't drive home because we don't have a car, so we had to figure out how to get her on a plane. I ended up having to go out and find a kennel for Ambea, but we couldn't find one that was small enough, so we ended up having to try to find a smaller one that would fit regulation, which was 18 by 11 by 11. But we couldn't find anything in Soda Springs because Soda Springs is so small. They didn't have a lot of stores and stuff. So we ended up just giving up and thinking, you know, the next day when we get up to Pocatello, which is where the airline is, because we were flying out on Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. The day after, we would just go out to Pocatello and find something at Walmart or something, because Pocatello has more stores. So then after that, we kind of headed home, we headed back to the room, and my boyfriend went out to go grab more groceries because we were staying an extra night and we didn't have any more dinner. And he came back with a whole bunch of food that he doesn't see anymore in our stores where we're from, but he used to have when he was little. So he went out and he bought a whole bunch, and he asked me to try some of it. After filming our little impromptu mukbang trying foods thing, and also just talking, we ended up watching more TV, and then we went outside. We were thinking originally to play snowballs again and have a snowball fight again, but we changed our mind and ended up making a snowman because it was a lot of fresh snow, so it was easier to pack. So we had decided to make a snowman, and this is the first ever snowman my boyfriend has ever made. When I was little, in Texas, it used to snow a lot during the winters. So every year when I was little, my family used to make snowmen and we made a snowman, and we named him Mr. Frio, or Senor Frio, because he's cold.
Here's our snowman. His cute little creepy smiling nose. His cap.
Okay,
Added
Senor
a
Frio
little bow tie.
complete.
Or a tie, not a bow tie, sorry.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to tell that it's a tie because it's uneven, but
He gave him little fingers on
it's
his
pretty cool,
hand.
dude. Looks like he'd fit in with Jack Skellington.
Oh, over here. The little fingers. There's his body.
Yeah.
There's Ambea, all covered in snow. She's cold. She was having fun a second ago.
She was.
And with that, we ended the night, and the next day, we ended up calling a car, and we met this really nice driver man named Charlie, and my boyfriend and him were talking it up for like an hour and a half on the drive all the way up there, all the way to Pocatello, and I was just sitting in the back quiet, trying to keep my barf down, and then I looked down at my phone, and I hit 100 subscribers.
Oh my god, guys, you will not believe what just happened. Excuse my hair. We were traveling in the car, and I get car sick, so excuse my hair. But, oh my god, I have to show you guys. While we were in the car, I hit 100 subscribers while we were in the car, heading to the motel. But oh my god, I hit 100, you guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos and giving me love and giving me 100 subscribers. That's, like, kind of crazy to me. To me, like, it's crazy already to interact with even 10 people in a day, but there are 100 people who are subscribed and watching my videos, which is insane. When I get home, I'm 100% going to celebrate. I'm probably going to bake a cake. I'm probably going to take pictures, get dressed, get balloons and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate it. for me, as just a regular schmegular person who likes to make videos, who likes to edit videos, thank you so much for making me hit 100 subscribers, especially during a time where I'm struggling or I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. This means a lot to me. Thank you guys so much. Because also, like, I actually had a goal that within a year of me starting YouTube, I'd hit 100. And it hasn't been a full year yet, but I hit 100. And that's incredible. And that's because of you guys. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks.
And when we made it to Pocatello, we made it to the motel that we were staying at and the one that I booked. I ordered online from Walmart to get it shipped to the motel, a kennel that was like a soft kennel that was the perfect size, so then we wouldn't have to figure out a way to get out of the motel and drive to a Walmart to get a kennel, which worked out perfectly. And also we managed to book another ride with the driver that drove us, Charlie, and he was very kind enough to come out at like 4 in the morning to drive us to the airport. Anyway, when we made it there, we got all our stuff into the room. We didn't really unpack anything because we were going to leave early in the morning. We didn't want to repack everything. The only stuff we unpacked was the stuff for Ambea so we could walk her, stuff like that. And then we ended up going to get some food. There was this little diner area that's in like the motel that we ended up going towards, but there's like this little punching game that was right outside, and we spent a lot of time and a lot of dollars trying to get really high numbers. I personally am not that strong compared to my boyfriend. So me, the highest I could get was like 400 something. My boyfriend though, he kept going, he got to 700 something. And then we ended up going to get dinner, which honestly did not turn out that good. We got this big steak, but it wasn't good. It wasn't flavored or anything. Anyway, and then after we ate, we were all fueled up, we're all ready. We go back out, and then I give my boyfriend a few pointers because, like, with the game, it takes two. My brain knows what to do, I know what to do, but actually acting it out is not something that's in my capability. So I explained to him what I thought he should do in adjustment to his technique, and then he punched, and he got over 800.
Oh, yeah!
There we go, 800.
Told you.
Which was our goal, which is pretty awesome, pretty cool, and honestly, I'm really glad for him. I took a picture of him and everything, and I was really happy. And then from there, we ended the night. We ended up going back to our room and resting and sleeping and stuff until 4 in the morning, and then we headed out and came home. Alrighty, final thoughts. I think that we went through something that was traumatic, and it's okay to be sad about it. It's okay to be traumatized. It sounds weird for me to say it that way, but it's okay that it happened. And in reflection of everything, I'm just glad that with all circumstances considered, we're okay. We ended up in a place with the nicest people we could have asked for. We ended up in a place with all of the resources we needed to get home. And we ended up in a place that honestly feels like Christmas at the perfect time of year. And honestly, I think even though that accident was specific time, specific place, specific thing, according to talking to a lot of people who lived in Soda Springs told us that if we had driven any farther, we could have gotten into an even worse accident because the weather had gotten so bad and we had no idea. I think that something out there was looking out for us, and the only way that we could be so lucky was if we ended up having something that's so traumatic to us, but in retrospect, it could have been worse. And it made me thankful and happy because it made me realize just how important my relationship with my boyfriend is, my relationship with myself, my relationship with my dog, my relationship with my car. It made me realize so many things about how I view these relationships in my life and how I view everything that's been going on. And it makes me thankful. And I'm happy and lucky that we made it home. I'm happy and lucky that I have friends like Michaela. I'm happy and lucky that we made so many connections with so many people there. And even at that time, you guys gave me 100 subscribers. That's crazy. But yeah, I think that's it. And I'm going to end the video here. As you guys can see, we are not doing a New York and New Jersey vlog. But I'm thankful that I'm here. And I'm thankful that I get to see another day with my boyfriend and with my dog and with you all. But yeah, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, thank you so much for watching. Good morning, good night, and goodbye. Because you know I'll see you next time.